What happens when one fighter plane stalls itself into a fireball and another turns a stall into the coolest aerial trick ever invented? Today we're putting the Curtiss XP-55 Ascender against the Saab J-35 Draken, and trust me, this showdown is stranger than it looks. I'm Bill, and this is Buffalo Air Park. Let's dive in. Are you ready for this one? Two fighters, two eras, both strange in their own way. On one side, the Curtiss XP-55 Ascender, America's backwards flying oddball from World War II. On the other, the Saab J-35 Draken, a sleek Swedish dragon of the Cold War. One stalled itself into the dirt, the other accidentally invented one of the coolest air combat maneuvers in history. Part 1, the X-55 Ascender, the backwards blunder. Back in 1939, the Army Air Corps basically told aircraft designers, forget the rulebook, get weird. Curtiss answered with the XP-55 Ascender, a canard pusher design that looked like someone had assembled the blueprint upside down. The engine sat behind the pilot, spinning a pusher prop, while a tiny canard perched on the nose. The name Ascender was official, but test crews quickly nicknamed it the Ascender because, well, it looked like it was flying backwards. To their credit, Curtiss engineers thought about safety. They gave the pilot a lever to jettison the propeller before bailing out, basically an injection button for the blender behind your head. Pretty smart, until you remember that the plane itself wasn't. Planned to top 500 miles per hour with a powerful Pratt & Whitney X1800, the XP-55 got stuck with a much weaker Allison engine. Instead of screaming into the future, it crawled along at 390 miles per hour, slower than the fighter jets already in service. And worse, it had a stall characteristic straight out of a nightmare. Enter a stall, and the plane would pitch forward, flip over, and spiral down like a leaf in a hurricane. The first prototype went down at 16,000 feet. Another killed its pilot and 4 civilians during an airshow crash. By 1944, jets were on the horizon, and the Ascender was obsolete before it left the runway. Today, only one survivor sits in Kalamazoo, Michigan, a monument to what happens when radical meets terrible timing. Part 2, the Saab J-35 Draken, the cool dragon. Fast forward a decade, Sweden wanted a homegrown interceptor that could chase down Soviet bombers at Mach-2. Enter the Saab J-35 Draken, the Dragon. Instead of the backward blender approach, Saab rolled out a bold double delta wing. It was so radical they had to build a baby test plane, the Saab 210 Little Dragon, just to prove it would work. And boy, did it work. The J-35 became Europe's first supersonic fighter, capable of Mach 2.3, nearly 4 times faster than the XP-55 ever managed. But the quirks didn't stop at speed. The Draken had to launch from Swedish highways and be refueled and rearmed in under 10 minutes by conscripts with minimal training. Imagine some poor kid whose last job was stocking shelves now bolting missiles onto a Mach 2 Dragon while the clock's ticking. And here's the kicker. Those early Delta wings had a nasty tendency to superstall. Instead of scrapping the design, Swedish pilots learned to control it, turning disaster into advantage. The result? The legendary Cobra Maneuver, where the jet suddenly pitches its nose sky high, slamming on an invisible air brake and forcing a pursuer to overshoot. The X-55 stall killed test pilots. The J-35 stall invented a party trick that's still jaw-dropping today. Part 3, Head-to-Head. So, who wins this oddball showdown? The XP-55 hit 390 miles per hour, killed a few test pilots, and faded into obscurity. The Saab J-35 hit Mach 2, served for nearly half a century, and left behind one of the most famous maneuvers in dogfighting history. In short, the XP-55 Ascender showed us what not to do. The Saab Draken showed us how to turn flaws into legends. And in this battle of backwards blunders versus Nordic Dragon, well, let's just say the Dragon keeps flying, while the Ascender keeps sitting in Kalamazoo. And that wraps up another tale from aviation's stranger side. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies.